You already know, guys, if virtual loves are concerned, you have to be very careful and cautious there, because we never know who is on the other side of the screen. And if you don't believe me, pay attention to these spoilers. Seol Rem is a sweet young woman who spends her free time playing online. The first time we see her, she is doing exactly that, when her gaming partner gives her a bouquet of roses and proposes marriage. She, surprised and excited, jumps onto her bed. At that moment, her mother appears and reads the messages on the screen. The woman laughs ironically, reminding her daughter that she knows nothing about this person, who could be a complete lunatic. However, Rem insists that their hearts are aligned, which causes her mother to take off a shoe and chase her around the house. In that instant, our girl reminds her that she married her father after only 6 months of knowing each other, while she has been talking to Kaylee for a year. Finally, after managing to lock herself back in her room, Seol Rem continues with her daydreaming. Later, the girl tells her friend Mina what happened. Mina comments that Seol Rem has very little information about this person in question, and that she should think carefully before acting, as she has developed feelings she shouldn't have. To which Seol Rem replies that she does know some things like the university and the year he is studying. Furthermore, the young woman assures her that she only does it for fun, and that's it. It's not that important. Nevertheless, in the next scene, we see her dressed and ready for the online wedding. Faced with this, her friend mentions that he doesn't even have Discord, which seems to indicate that this guy is keeping some secret. Despite this, Seol Rem continues to insist that Kaylee is special. When the time for the wedding event in the game arrives, the minutes pass and pass. Seol Rem begins to worry because her virtual boyfriend does not appear. After that, hours pass and the guy still does not make an appearance. So Mina points out that if he has not logged in, it is a clear indication that the wedding is canceled. Even so, Seol Rem tries to excuse him until her friend, with a cold shower, tells her that she should go to sleep. A month later, Seol Rem writes an angry message to Kaylee, who has not appeared in the game all that time. A year later, the girl enters her first year of university, which turns out to be the same one where this Kaylee studies. So our protagonist has the clear mission of finding him among all the students and taking revenge on him for having broken her heart. That same afternoon, Seol Rem stops in front of one of the campus bars, and there she meets Seon Yeon. Seeing her, he asks her if she remembers him. The young woman looks confused, so he reminds her that they promised to meet again. At that moment, she remembers a conversation with Kaylee in which he told her something similar. Immediately, Seol Rem concludes that he is the person she is looking for and follows him inside the bar. Inside, Seol Rem joins a group of art students with whom she shares and also drinks a little alcohol. Thanks to this, she ends up starring in an embarrassing scene in which she scolds Seon Yeon for having given her hope and then abandoned her without any explanation. Later, when the girl wakes up and remembers the night before, humiliation invades her. So when she goes to university again, she tries to hide from all the people she met the night before at the bar, trying to flee from her actions. Unfortunately, when she goes to her new job at the library, she runs directly into Seon Yeon, who welcomes her and tells her that they will work together. Minutes later, while they are working, Seon Yeon mentions that she still doesn't remember him, which causes Seol Rem to explode and scold him for having stopped talking to her. Yaha, at that moment, we see a memory of Seon Yeon, in which he is working as a university enrollment advisor, where he attended an angry Seol Rem who told him that she was there only to take revenge on someone who had hurt her greatly. Realizing that he is not the man she is looking for, Seol Rem intensely apologizes for having confused him all this time. And to overcome the situation, they both go to a cafeteria. There, Seon Yeon advises the young woman to stop seeking revenge, suggesting that perhaps that person had his own reasons for disappearing like that without further ado. However, at that moment, Seol Rem hears another student called by the player's nickname, leaving her completely speechless. This person is Ju-han, who approaches the table to greet Seon Yeon since they are friends. And as soon as Ju-han leaves, Seol Rem chases him and stops him to ask him his nickname in the game, which leaves the guy confused and he walks away just like that. In the afternoon, Seol Rem tells Mina what she did, and Mina clarifies that it is not the way to act, since that would only make Ju-han flee. Instead, she advises her to first become friends with him. and then ask him. The next day, our protagonist arrives at class and takes a seat while thinking about how difficult it will be to approach Ju-han. However, she soon realizes that the person sitting next to her is none other than her objective. So when the boy tries to move to another seat, Seol-rem grabs his arm and asks him to stay. The content creation class soon begins, and in the middle of it, the professor asks Ju-han what level he has in the game, to which the boy replies that he has the maximum level. This makes Seol-rem more certain that he is her ghost boyfriend, who is also maximum level. When the class ends, Ju-han is about to leave when Seol-rem asks him to play with her in the computer lab, assuring him that her greatest desire is to play with someone of maximum level. Although the boy is somewhat reluctant, he finally accepts while Seon-yeon observes the interaction from a distance. Once they are in the computer labs, they both log in, but Ju-han does so from a new account. Thus, our protagonist asks him to log into his maximum level account, but he refuses, stating that he can win the games anyway. After playing, they both walk across campus when Seol-rem mentions that he was able to defeat all the bosses without having a maximum level account, while she didn't even use all her abilities. The young man reminds her that she at least took down a major boss, trying to cheer her up. At that moment, Seol-rem drops the bomb and tells him that she heard someone call him Excalibur, demanding an explanation of why he didn't log into his main account. Annoyed, Ju-han asked her if she will start that again, to which our girl explains that that was the nickname of the person she is looking for. Irritated, he replies that even he understands why Kaylee is hiding from her, and that if he were him, he would also hide, adding that getting involved with her is a disgrace. Hurt, Seol-rem assures him that he is definitely not the man she's looking for, since Kaylee would never intentionally hurt her. That night, Seon-yeon arrives at his shared house with Ju-han. At that moment, he takes the opportunity to tell him that perhaps he should get closer to Seol-rem. But Ju-han simply comments that some loves are only destined to cause pain, insinuating that the person Seol-rem is looking for is him. Shortly after, Seol-rem received an internal message from Kali that only says, "Don't look for me." So, sad that this was the only interaction in a long time, Seol-rem tells Mina that it hurts that Kali knows she is looking for him and still won't approach her. Understanding her friend's pain, Mina reminds her that at least he is being honest. He doesn't want to be found, so abandon your dream and die. After this, Seol-rem finally decides to delete Kaylee from her game friends, closing that chapter of her life. Days later, in the content creation class, the professor assigns a group task, allowing everyone to choose their partners and leaders. For her part, Seol-rem is not clear who will be part of her team, and when she looks at Seon-yeon, she realizes that all the girls approach him asking to be part of his group. However, he apologizes and tells them that he already has someone in mind. He immediately approaches Seol-rem and asks her to do the work with him. When the young woman is unsure, Gong, one of the students who has become friends with Seol-rem, jumps in to accept. At that moment, Mu-il, another student, asks to join them and everyone accepts. Then they realize that they need a good cameraman. So Seon-yeon says he has someone perfect for that. Yes, Ju-han. As expected, the boy refuses to be part of the team, preferring to be alone. That afternoon, Gong and Seol-rem meet in a cafeteria to start working on the group project. But after a long time working, they realize that they need Ju-han's help, although they don't know how to convince him to accept. Later, Gong shows our protagonist a video of a stray kitten that has many positive reactions on YouTube, as it is very cute. That night, when Seol-rem returns home, she finds Ju-han in a park trying to rescue a kitten. So even though the young man does not greet her kindly, she offers to help him. After rescuing the kitten, they both sit on a park bench and talk. However, something in Ju-han's voice reminds her of the kitten video that Gong had shown her. Therefore, she asks the boy to repeat the same words from the video, and when Ju-han does so, she confirms that it is him. Using this information to her advantage, she manages to get Ju-han to be part of the project, since the boy does not want anyone to find out about his sensitive side, as shown in the YouTube video. Furthermore, Seol Rem offers to temporarily keep this rescued kitten while they look for its owner. Then, the next day, Gong and Seol Rem head to the meeting room where they will start the group project. And upon arrival, our protagonist captures the interest of both Joo-han and Seon-yeon. As she approaches the table, a camera catches Seol Rem's attention, so she picks it up, admiring it and considering that she had never seen that model. However, while examining it, she realizes that it has a small plaque hanging from one side with the inscription Kaylee. With nerves dominating her stomach, Seol Rem directly asks Joo-han if he is Kaylee again, to which the boy finally accepts, while Seon-yeon watches him unable to believe that he confirmed that, and he pretending all this time that it wasn't him. Surprised, Seol Rem asks Joo-han if he is serious. Then he explains that he doesn't want her to forget about Kali and to stop looking at the other guys. Annoyed, our protagonist walks away from the place, while Seon-yeon asks his friend if he intends to be serious with Seol Rem. Angry, Joo-han tells Seon-yeon that it is none of his business and warns him that he should not be interested in his friend's ex-girlfriend, referring to their virtual relationship. Finally, he assures him that if he does not stop his advances with Seol Rem, he will not be responsible for his actions. The next day, Seol Rem meets Seon-yeon and apologizes for the scene the day before, noting that because of it, they were unable to complete the pending task. Faced with this, the boy just nods and walks away, meeting his friend Joo-han on the way, who invites her to lunch. They both sit in the dining room, and the girl watches Joo-han while he enjoys his food in silence. Anxiously, she asks him if he has anything to tell her, but Joo-han simply replies that she is not bothering him. She is about to leave, but he gives her some gifts for her kitten. On the other hand, from a distance, Moo-il points out to Seon-yeon that Joo-han and Seol Rem make a good couple, but Seon-yeon avoids discussing this topic at all costs, as his friend's relationship with the girl hurts him. Shortly after, Joo-han and Seol Rem leave the cafeteria, and while talking they go up some stairs, and upon reaching the top, the girl trips. But Joo-han catches her in time. At that precise moment, Seon-yeon appears, observing the whole scene and feeling jealous, thinking it is a romantic act. Later, in a group meeting for the project, Seol Rem takes care to clarify to everyone, including Seon-yeon, that her relationship with Joo-han is based solely on a cat they are raising, so that Seon-yeon knows that there is no romantic relationship between the two. The next day, Seol Rem has the task of looking for certain props in a campus warehouse. With some reluctance, the girl enters the warehouse, making sure to leave the door open. We already know what will happen, don't we? However, just as she is inside, the door closes by itself, leaving her completely in the dark in a closed space and unleashing a panic attack that leaves her curled up on the dusty floor. After that, we see a memory of our protagonist, where some high school girls left her locked in a dark warehouse after having bullied her, which caused Seol Rem trauma. Minutes later, Seon-yeon arrives at the work area, and Moo-il asks him what he is doing there, since he is supposed to be looking for the props with Seol Rem. Faced with Seon-yeon's concern, Moo-il explains that the girl took the key from him to go to the warehouse. Immediately, Seon-yeon calls Joo-han to ask him if he is with Seol Rem, and when he says that he doesn't understand the question, Seon-yeon doesn't waste time and goes straight to look for her. Upon reaching the place, he finds Seol Rem lying on the ground unconscious, so he takes her in his arms and carries her outside. After a long and tense moment, the young woman finally regains consciousness, and Seon-yeon asks her if she is taking her medicine. Curious, Seol Rem asks him how he knows, and in another memory, but this time of Seon-yeon, we understand that his relationship with Seol Rem began much earlier, when Joo-han was talking to her through the game. One day, the girl sent him a message to tell him that she had been left trapped in a warehouse, asking for help. Then, Seon-yeon called the school to alert them about the situation. Despite having alerted them, they both went to the school near their residence, and there, they observed how the principals took the young woman to the infirmary. At that moment, something fell from her uniform, and Seon-yeon picked it up. It was a plaque with her name, confirming that the girl in the game was her, and they both felt relieved to have helped her. Back to reality, Seol Rem deduces that Seon-yeon knows about her medication because of what Joo-han told him through the game, which he neither confirms nor denies. That night, Seon-yeon calls Seol Rem to ask her to meet the next day, stating that he has something very important to tell her. Totally excited, our protagonist nods, as she has feelings for him and is hopeful for a date or something. However, the next morning, Seol Rem receives a call from Ju Han, who tells her that he has something to confess to her, and that he also needs to meet with her urgently. Driven by worry, our protagonist decides to go with the one she believes was her virtual love. Upon arriving at the place, it is a symbolic place where the ashes of relatives are kept. Then, Ju Han tells her that his twin brother is there, on one of the gravestones. Furthermore, he explains that his brother was actually Kaylee. This shocks Seol Rem so much that she resists believing that her virtual love is no longer in this physical world. Annoyed, our girl is about to leave when Seon-yeon suddenly appears. She asks him to tell her it's a lie, but he confirms it to her. Furthermore, he explains that Kaylee had an accident as he crossed the street without realizing that the passage was blocked in his eagerness to arrive on time for his virtual wedding. After crossing the street with the pedestrian traffic light red, the young man died. Devastated, Seol Rem scolds them for not telling her from the beginning that it was her fault. Consequently, she apologizes to Ju Han for having tried to make his life impossible in search of revenge when she was actually the cause of everything bad that happened to him. Ashamed and feeling guilty, Seol Rem finally goes home. There, locked in her room, she blames herself for having caused the death of her boyfriend and for having thought that he had stood her up at the wedding when he always intended to arrive, only at the cost of his own safety. After days locked up without going out into the outside world, her mother forces her to receive Seon-yeon. Only then does our protagonist get out of bed, so she tells Seon-yeon that she will take a break from school, as she doesn't want to go back knowing that Kaylee died because of her. Finally, she asks him not to look for her again. In turn, Seon-yeon tells her that this is disappointing, as he thought she meant more to her. Despite everything, he asks her for one last walk. After trying to convince her, he succeeds and takes her to a small bridge where he gives her a box with the plaque that fell off that day when she was rescued in the school warehouse. Surprised, our girl asks him for an explanation, and he tells her that Kaylee and he went together to make sure she was okay. This deeply moves our young woman, who looks at him with tears in her eyes, excited to discover that there is a bond between them. Not long after, Ju Han goes to Seol Rem's apartment and gives her a bag, claiming that Kaylee would have given it to her at some point. Then, Seol Rem goes to the place where Kaylee's ashes are and thanks him for everything he did for her, as well as for introducing her to good people like Seon-yeon. After all, Kali saved her that day in the warehouse, and she reflects on what her life would have been like if she hadn't taken his help seriously. After this closure, the girl decides to return to university with the intention of finishing the project with her friends. A couple of nights later, Ju Han and Seon-yeon are honest, admitting that they both have feelings for Seol Rem, which starts a small competition between the two friends. For example, Seon-yeon gives Seol Rem his place to study in the library, offering her to occupy the sofa in the communal room, all so that the girl can concentrate better. However, it seems that Seol Rem gets closer to Ju Han when she offers to help him with his homework, but the boy warns her not to approach him, as he has been without a shower all day. As a result, while Ju Han showers, Seol Rem advances the homework and even finishes it when he returns and falls asleep next to her at the desk. Unfortunately, Seon-yeon observes this scene, awakening his jealousy and competitiveness. Shortly after, we see Seon-yeon buying a gift for Seol Rem, with whom he has arranged to meet at the bus stop. However, the protagonist receives a call from Ju Han right at that precise moment, who informs her that the owner of the cat they rescued that day in the park has appeared. Therefore, the young woman calls Seon-yeon to let him know that she will be delayed in arriving and meets with Ju Han instead. After handing the kitten over to its owner, they both feel happy and satisfied for having successfully brought a pet home, and even high-five with joy. At that moment, Ju Han realizes that he really loves Seol Rem and asks her out on a date. Meanwhile, Seon-yeon patiently waits for the young woman at the bus stop, but she never arrives. Shortly after, while continuing with the class project, Ju Han and Seon-yeon have a disagreement about the filming. At that moment, Seol Rem intervenes, taking both by the arms and symbolically joining them, without letting us know which of the two she will stay with. But of course, we will know that in the next season.